First of all, I'm going to show you how you can access values inside of your resource folder, for example strings or something like that. For our spinner object we want to use a string array, just like we did with our AutoCompleteTextViews, but this time we're going to create it inside of our strings.xml. So you can go ahead and find it in the values folder, and you can just open it up, and we're going to type out string and then array, and the name are going to be countries, and there we go. And inside of here you type out the items, or in this case the strings, and you do it this way. Type out item and then do this, and you type out the value inside. For example, we want the first value to be SE, or let's say Sweden, and maybe the next item in the drop down menu is going to be US or something like that, and let's just get some others like DK, and let's put in AU for Australia, and then maybe one more. Let's put out CN, which I believe is China. So basically when the user press our object, our spinner view, this list will be displayed and the user can select one of them. Alright, so let's go to our activity layout file, and now let's create a spinner view, and now let's create a spinner object. Alright, so let's create our spinner object. Oops. Alright, so let's create our spinner object. The width is going to be wrap content this time, and the height is also going to be wrap content. And because we already defined our strings inside of our strings.xml file, we can put them immediately inside of our spinner, typing Android and then entries. And then we're going to set this to array slash countries, I believe we call it. So basically you type out the type of value, or sorry, the type of array that you want to use. So basically you type out what kind of variable type you want to use. For example, you could type out, I believe, integer, a character or something like that. But in this case we used an array in the form of a string, so we type out @array slash the reference name to the variable which we named countries, as you can see here. So alright, let's go back to our layout file. And let's give our spinner an ID and a position on the screen. Sorry. Inside of here, Android ID equals 2. See, let's call it spin country. There is something like that. And let's place it below our multi autocomplete text view object. There we go. Alright, so let's run the application. It should start any moment now. There we go. There we go. And this is our spinner object. As you can see, it is a kind of drop down menu. If I press it, I can see all of the choices that we can make. For example, I can select the US and it will change. I can select DK or whatever. What I want to do now is show a way on how you can actually use this information that you can retrieve from the various text fields. So I'm going to go ahead and create a button, and we might as well have wrap content and everything, and place it below our spinner object in countries, and then I want it to be placed at the right side of our screen. let's give it some kind of text, like send information, and let's give it an ID. Say button send, something like that. So basically what I want to do is that when we press this button, we're going to display the information inside of these objects. So first of all, we need to create a reference to our spinner object inside of our XML file. Let's name it spin countries equals to parentheses spinner, and then find view by ID. There we go. And now let's get our button. You should be starting to get familiar with how this works now. So now we have our button and the reference to our button and every other object that we need. So let's create an on-click listener so we can make something happen when we press the button. So let's create set on-click listener and a new view.onClickListener. And as I said in the last video, Android Studio gives you a lot of pre-made code, and that's what I really like about it. But if you're not used to Android, you should probably put this in manually, because it will help you remember how it works. But anyways, you're going to have to put this out, which will create a new object inside, which will create a new on-click listener for our button. And inside the on-click method, we put in everything we want to happen when we press the button. So in this case, we're going to display a message, and we can do this by typing out toast with capital T dot make text, and the context is going to be get application context, and afterwards we type out the string that we want to display, and in this case we want to display, let's see, ACTV colors dot get text, and then we need to transform it to a string. And next we put a new line, and we want to display the multi-text, the multi AutoComplete text view. And next we want to display what we have typed in inside of our multi AutoComplete text view. By getting two text and then two string. And lastly, let's get the value from our spin countries. Spin countries dot get selected view. Oh, sorry, selected item, and then a two string. And then we need to type out what kind of length we want to use. If we want to display it for a somewhat long time or a short time. And you do that by typing out toast with capital T, and then, for example, dot length underscore long. And then we must display our toast object, and you can do that by typing out dot show immediately after the last parenthesis. So let's see if this works. I'm going to run it and skip the video until it starts. Alright, so let's see if it works. I'm going to start by typing out blue. Let's pick that one, and then let's say yellow and red. And then we're going to set this one to US. And let's click the send info button. And as you can see, we display blue and then yellow, red, and the US from our spinner object. So that is basically how we can retrieve and use the information that is stored inside of the different objects that we have created. So basically, if you want to get whatever value is inside of the spinner object, use the get selected item method and then turn it into a string. And for the text view objects, you type out get text and then dot to string. So yeah, that was all for this video. hopefully you found it useful, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.